Hi, so I've been working on this tool and I wanted to show you, particularly for validating changes in a component. One of the things I find most difficult, maybe frustrating, at GitLab is trying to work out how do we render a component when we're changing it. Yeah, I've made videos on it before, but I want to show you a new thing that I'm doing. Okay, so this task that I'm doing, let me show you the epic. Okay, so the thing that I'm doing right now is migrating text colors to use design tokens. So for example, GL text primary is going to become GL text default, and I need to do that. So the one that I'm working on at the moment is this one. Migrate GL text tertiary to GL text disabled, and there's only 13 cases of it. So what I'm going to do is create a storybook for each case. So there's only 9 components that use this. Some of them use it multiple times. And so instead of trying to work out where they're rendered, I'm going to make a storybook for each of them. So I made a little epic. That's where we came from. So this is creating a storybook entry for each of these I don't know, things, components, right? Yeah, I got this a little bit wrong. It should be .view, not just stories, but it's okay. So the thing that we're doing currently is we're going to create a storybook for rich timestamp tooltip. Okay, so I'm going to create a branch. Bear with me. I'm going to try to take you through all of this step by step. So I'm building it from scratch, and then I can show you some other ones that I made. So first up, making a new branch. Okay, so rich timestamp tooltip, that's what I'm making. This is the component. Now, to make a storybook entry, I've made this little tool. It's in this project called CSS Parser Experiment. I just started experimenting with different scripts. So this one is storybook creation script. It's here. It's in, I need to clean this up so it's usable for other people, but you can use it now if you want. It's in process each individually. This is the code that we're going to run. So I'll show you how it works here. This is the same branch. I've just merged it, so I'll just check out main and pull. Okay. Oh, I've got to get rid of these, sorry. Okay. All right. So I originally wrote this to try to build all of the storybooks in GitLab. Doesn't work. It's much too hard. Doesn't work like that at all. There's a lot of problems. So now I've changed it a bit to just do one component at a time. So you add your component name here, rich timestamp tooltip, and what it's going to do is it's going to search for this component and get all of the information needed to build a storybook. So okay, so I'll walk you through how this works because it's pretty interesting. So first it tries to find view components. So it's going to try to find all components unless you give it a component name to find, which is what we've just done. So if the component name is equal to the component name we've sent, it's going to okay, sorry, let me walk you through step by step. So from the main, we have find view components. Find view components is in here. Find view components. Okay, so what it does is so the found hang on. Okay, so this function is used to search the directory. You can have a look at what this does, but essentially what happens is you give it a directory and then you give it a function to do when it finds that thing. So in this case, the file checking function, what it does is it says, okay, if the path, so it's going to do this on every single file until it finds one. If the file path is view, then what we're going to do is we're going to get the file content, we're going to get the component name, and if the component name is equal to the name that we've given, what we want to do is return the component itself, right? Otherwise, don't do anything. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but it works. It's not very clean. That's okay. And then what we do is, so we found the component, and then it's just going to filter to make sure they're all there. Okay, so then what we're going to do is for every component in components, and in this case it's just going to be one because we've given it a specific name. So just the one, as long as there is a component, what we're going to do is we're going to get the component information. So this function, what it does is it gets the path of like where is this component located. It's an important one. This gives us the path for the storybook title. This does this automatically. So a storybook needs a title. Let me show you an example of a storybook. Yeah, I just made a MR, so tooltip. Okay, this is one I just made. Okay, so in a storybook, you need to import the component. You need to give the component a name. You need to give it a title, which is where it's found on Storybook. So if you do like, so for this one, EE related items tree. So then it's going to be EE, and then there'll be a folder called related items tree, and then the component, right? Anyway, so what it's doing is it's getting all of the information needed to make a storybook entry. So it's getting all of the context, and then we're going to run generate initial storybook. So what this does is it gets all of the information needed and it sends it to an LLM. In this case, I'm using Google Gemini. So here we have okay. So we have the component, we have the props, this is the important one, storybook entry template. So what this does is it generates a template of a storybook, and then it gives that as part of the prompt information. So so the way this works, you can read through it. It's pretty messy, to be honest, but it works okay. So what it does is it builds out a template of a storybook. And yeah, it's pretty messy. So then what we do is, let's go back to where we were, which is here, is it then creates a prompt with the name, file contents, blah, 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 all the stuff, the storybook documentation from the GitLab storybook, and then the incomplete storybook entry. And then the prompt is just, please complete the storybook entry just as plain text. And it logs the prompt to the console so that if you don't have, mine has the API key that I need to do this call. If you don't have an API key, you can just console log the prompt and copy paste it into whatever model you want. But let me show you what it outputs. So we're going to run node. So this is a node script, storybook creation scripts, process each individually, main, and because we've put rich timestamp, Now what it does is it's found the component, then it's found all of the other stuff that it needs. Now it's looking for the test file, and now it's created so this is the prompt. It's pretty long, but it gives all the information, and then it outputs so in the GitLab project, so this is important, so it creates it in the GitLab project. So you have to have this JS scripts test, I think it's called SCSS parser, whatever now. You need it next to. So this, you can see here, it's in documents, and then if we go to GitLab, then we can see this is next to it. So documents, GitLab development kit, GitLab. And then what we have is a template of this storybook. So you can see it's a bit messy. We can clean it up a bit. Provide doesn't have anything, so let's get rid of it. I don't know what this is. Get rid of that. And then, okay, also this is not the right path. Actually, this is so it's automatically created in the same project, same folder as the tooltip. So the path is actually just going to be like this, yeah. And then we're just going to run this in Storybook and see, does it work? So the title is Work Items / Rich Timestamp Toolbook. So we're looking for work items. I can't see it, so maybe it didn't work. We can look at the console and see what errors we're getting. Yeah, cool, great. So we've got a bunch of errors, which means it isn't working. What we're going to do is just work through these errors. Okay, unexpected error while loading, cannot find a module. Okay, well, I think we've updated this, so let's clear and see what we get. Okay, all right. Invalid prop type for false positive, expected a boolean, got undefined. All right, so then we can have a look at the component. Let's split this, and then we can look at, okay, so we're looking at the props. What are we after? False positive. What is that? I don't know. Also, no answer. In vulnerability, this isn't even the same. Oh, I'm picking up an error from there. Okay, cool. That's fun. Okay. Oh, here it is. Work items. Right. Okay, and then so we've got tooltip unable to find the element, some element. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at like what's going on here. So this is one I just did. I just did one like this, so I know what it is. But so what's happening is we have this is a tooltip, so it requires a target, and that target should be an object, I guess, a HTML element, a SVG, a string, function, whatever. So what this does is it's a tooltip, so I'll show you in my other example. Yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing here. So this is a tooltip that requires get target reference, and it's a function. And what we've done is we've given it as a prop this target. So we're just going to do that same thing again, and then this will make sense in a minute. I hope. Okay, so we've got So we're going to change this to backticks because it seems to work better with multi-line. Okay. From here, right. Oh, that's the second backtick, and then what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of doing state tooltip, we're going to do rich timestamp tooltip, and then the way it gets a target is it expects a array with the HTML element. Yeah, I'm not really sure how this is supposed to work. So one of the things we can do is we can have a look at the rich timestamp tooltip spec. Rich timestamp rich timestamp, oh my gosh, spec. Okay, so in the test, it also has to have a target. So what I want to know is, yeah, this is what it's doing in the test. That's not very helpful. Okay, well, let's just play with it then. So first of all, I could do a function, right? Let's try to do the same function. So we're going to do, the prop is target, and it's going to be a function that's going to give a ref target element. So this is going to return ref's target element, which is this, all right? Okay, and then all of the other props are given this way. We're going to remove this prop, okay, and then we're going to see, does this magically work? I hope so. So we're expecting to see a example text, and then look at that, here it is. There's our rich timestamp tooltip. Yeah, so now it works. Great, we just made a storybook entry. So I'll, yeah, that was pretty quick. So let's do the rest of it. Let's finish it off. So, okay, yeah, no problems with this one. Some other ones had some other issues, but nothing can't work through. So we're going to say add rich timestamp tooltip storybook entry. Okay, and we commit and we can push, and then we'll make the merge request. And I already took a screenshot for the merge request, so the merge request should have a screenshot of the thing working. I guess the merge request could also have a link to the component, so then somebody doesn't have to find it. Okay. So we're going to add the validation steps. That's what we're going to add first. So run storybook locally with command is yarn storybook start, and then go to, great. So now somebody can easily validate this locally. So the next thing we're going to do is going to add a screenshot. Before it didn't exist, now it does exist, so that's fine. Just make sure that's the right one. Great. And then I'm just going to copy this text from here. And I'm going to change the name. Adds a storybook entry for state tooltip, rich timestamp tooltip, so that we can validate the changes when we migrate it, the colors, to use design tokens. This is important. We only want to create storybooks when we do need them. We don't want to create all of them at once. So please explain in your merge request why we need a storybook. Great. Okay, I think that's it. So now I'm just going to wait for the test to pass, and once the tests pass, I will tag somebody for review. But that's all. That's everything. Thanks. Let me know if you find this useful or not useful, or there's something else we can do. Anyway, thanks a lot.